Hello viewers, welcome to the episode on Museums in India. Museums are the storehouse of the historical, scientific, artistic and cultural treasures. The conservation of the valuables is indispensable for the knowledge of the heritage. The items at display are much beyond mere antique pieces. They are the masterpieces of the artists, the storytellers of our history and clues to many mysteries. The range of the items on display is phenomenal. Right from the excavated objects, fossils of plants and animals, rock paintings to items in iron, bronze, gold, paleobotanical remains and archaeological remains, the museum houses a great cultural heritage. In this episode, let me explain you the story of Indian museums. The main objective of learning has been presented under 5 broad categories. They are as follows: National Museums, On-site Archaeological Museums, Museum at Jaipur and Ahmedabad, Museums in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, and Museums in Kerala and Andhra Pradesh. Introduction. Museums are repositories of great cultural wealth. The credit of establishing museums in India goes to the British around 19th century. While they explored the cultural legacy of India, their collections grew and thus the museums came to be established. The first Indian museum was established in 1875 at Kolkata. The museums can be classified into museums of art, natural history, science, folk, children, arts, etc. There are certain general museums which combine all these varieties in one. Of course, there are others which specialize in different fields. In the broader sense, the zoos, aquariums and botanical gardens also can be considered as museums. But ordinarily, a collection of living things are not considered as museums. History of Indian museums. Most of the museums in India have an incredible large collection of objects ranging from painting, sculptures, manuscripts, textiles, metalware, armory and jewelry. Each object is a piece of art. This is a representative of a distinct phase of history of the country. Some museums like the Utensils Museum or the Calico Museum in Ahmedabad have unique collections and specialized focus. Looking through the history of museums in India, it will be interesting to note that museums in the real sense originated during the British period. Prior to this, the period there was collections of articles by individuals, especially by the royal family, but they were not exhibited to public perusal. National Museums. As of now, there are 152 museums and art galleries in India. In 1956, there were only 80. There are museums in almost every important city. There are national museums under the central government at Delhi, Kolkata and Hyderabad. There are some on-site museums managed by the Archaeological Survey of India. Besides, almost every state has at least one leading museum which highlights regional or local artifacts. Also, there are university museums, municipal museums and museums run by learned societies. A recent trend is the growth of number of museums of science, especially of technology and applied sciences. National Museum, New Delhi. The National Museum in New Delhi was opened in 1949. It has a fine collection of antiquities from the prehistoric Indus Valley civilization excavated at Harappa, Mohenjo-daro and a few other sites in the Indus Valley. These include the bronze dancing girl of Mohenjo-daro, small stone torsos from Harappa, small animals in cast bronze and terracotta, wheeled carts and toys and exquisitely carved seals. The museum contains sculptures of the early and medieval periods pertaining to three religions of India: Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism. A room is devoted to Indian miniature paintings with a collection of paintings of all the Indian schools. This National Museum at Delhi is one of the great tourist attractions. The masterpieces are exhibited in a multi-story building which has various galleries for different categories of articles such as prehistoric and proto-historic art pieces, stone sculptures, terracotta, bronzes, paintings, manuscripts, wood carvings, costumes and anthropology. Indian Museum in Kolkata. The Indian Museum in Kolkata is the earliest and the largest multi-purpose museum in India. It was opened in 1878 at its present building by the transfer of collection of the Museum of the Asiatic Society of Bengal. The museum has 6 sections on archaeology, art, anthropology, zoology, economy and geology. Collections. The archaeology section has a large and representative collection of antiquities illustrating the cultural history of India from prehistoric times down to the Muslim period. The Bharat and Gandhara galleries contain specimens of Indian art from the 2nd century AD. The coin section of the museum contains the largest collection of Indian coins in the world and also a fine collection of gems and jewellery. Prince of Wales Museum in Mumbai. The Prince of Wales Museum, Mumbai has copies of masterpieces from the Ajanta caves. The artists painted Buddhist myth and legend with consummate skills. The museum has also collection of miniature paintings from the 11th to 19th century AD. Government Museum in Chennai. The Government Museum in Chennai on Pantheon Road started functioning in 1854. The collection of the Chennai Literary Society and the Royal Asiatic Society were shifted from Fort St. George, where a museum has been functioning since 1851. The sculpture gallery contains Hindu, Buddhist and Jain sculpture from the Tamil, Telugu and Kannada regions. The most important is the collection of Buddhist site of Amaravati belonging to 1st century BC. In the gallery devoted to metalwork, South Indian lamps, objects connected with household and temple worship and images in bronze, among which is the famous Nataraja from Tiruvellangalu, are available. On-site archaeological museums. Saranath. In the on-site archaeological museum at Saranath, 4 miles north of Banaras, preserved the famous lion capital of Asoka, which has been adopted in the crest of Republic of India. This apart, the statue of the preaching Buddha of the Gupta period, besides other fine Buddha images of the Mathura school, are displayed. Nalanda Museum. The Nalanda Museum, also an on-site museum, opened in 1917. It houses antiquities recovered from excavations at the site of famous ancient Buddhist university at Nalanda. It comprises of bronze and stone images, terracotta figurines and plaques, pottery and miscellaneous iron and bronze objects. Palace Museums, Jaipur. Once India became independent, most of the princely states and the places lost their splendor. The family collections are now kept in a part of the palace. Most of the palaces have become public museums in North India. We find such palace museums in the state of Rajasthan, especially at Jaipur and Alwar. National Gallery. Another equally impressive place is the National Gallery of Modern Art in Jaipur House. It has a collection of 20th century Indian art and earlier works of the Europeans in India. In Jaipur, along with the visit of the palace, you can see the exhibits at the City Palace Museum. In the Mubarak Mahal, which is a two-storied building, a part of the museum has the textile and costume sections. Collections. Among its rich and opulent exhibits, you can see the Atam Sukh of Madhav Singh I. It is a gown tailored to fit the enormous body of the ruler who weighed 225 kilograms. In the section known as Silek Khana, we find a fine collection of Indian weapons. The other interesting items in the museums are the two huge silver urns with a capacity of 8,182 liters. They were used to transport water from river Ganges to England for the ruler Madhav Singh II when he attended the coronation of King Edward VII. There are also exhibits of carpets from Herat, fabulous chandeliers and excellent collection of miniature paintings in Mughal and indigenous Rajput style. In the Darbar Hall of the palace, we have the Maharaja's private collections of paintings and rare manuscripts. Among them, the outstanding ones are the Razmanama, a Persian translation of Mahabharata done by Abu Jazi, and also the miniature editions of Gita and Linga Purana. Ahmedabad Museums. Ahmedabad museums are noteworthy. The Calico Museum has one of the world's finest collections of textiles. There are other kinds of museums such as Shreyas Museum of Folk Art, the Lalbhai Dalpatbhai Museum of Indology, and the Kite Museum. Ahmedabad boasts of yet another unique museum, the Utensils Museum. It is the brainchild of the Surendra Patel and is exclusively concerned with Indian utensils. All of these are private collections. Bombay Museum. In Mumbai, tourists are attracted to the Prince of Wales Museum. This commemorates George's first visit to India in 1905. It is an example of the Indo-Saracenic architecture. The collections here include Indian sculptures, miniature paintings, besides Nepali and Tibetan art. There is also a natural history gallery. The Crafts Museum. The artists and craftsmen have tried to keep their traditions alive all these centuries. Thus, the Crafts Museum has the collection of Indian crafts of different media ranging from clay, wood, textiles, basket work, cane and bamboo to metal and others. The National Gallery of Modern Art. The National Gallery of Modern Art is exclusively dedicated for Indian paintings and sculptures of the post-1857 era with permanently displays in some galleries. Other galleries in this museum are used to exhibit contemporary art. The museum also has famous paintings by Ravi Verma, M.F. Pitawala, Nandalal, and many others. The Gandhi Memorial Museum at Rajghat. The Gandhi Memorial Museum at Rajghat has been dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi. Two museums and a monument relate to the story of his life. The Gandhi Memorial Museum at Rajghat has a collection of photo documents and the life of Gandhi. This also includes his belongings like documents, letters, paintings, books, records, etc. The other, called the Gandhi Smriti Museum at Birla House, is a place where he was assassinated. This consists of belongings like one simple bed, a mat on the floor, his spinning wheel, books and his spectacles. This museum also displays the pictures of his wounded body and other related to it. In the same way, the official residence of India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, has been converted into a museum where his personal belongings like his correspondences and such other things are displayed for the public. Northeastern India. In the northeast India, the main attractions are the two interesting museums in Shillong, Meghalaya State Museum, situated in the State Central Library building. This has a collection of jewelry, handicrafts, weapons, musical instruments and coins. The second one is the Butterfly Museums. It displays beetles and butterflies from the region and other parts of India. Museums in South India. Turning to the south, there are several important museums in the four southern states of Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. In South India, you will come across very interesting museums and art galleries. They are: 1 in Bijapur, 2 in Bangalore, 3 in Mysore from Karnataka, 1 in Tirupati and 5 in Hyderabad in Andhra Pradesh, 3 in Madurai, 7 in Chennai, 1 in Thanjavur in Tamil Nadu and 2 in Pondicherry, 1 in Cochin in Kerala. Museums in Tamil Nadu. Tony Sinclair in his book Introduction to India states that Tamil Nadu is a living museum where cultures and traditions that developed over 2000 years ago still flourish. Chennai. The capital of the state is Chennai, where we have the Government Art Museum. This was established in 1851. It has sections specifically for natural history and anthropology. The finest displays here are the sculptures of South India's great dynasties like the Pallavas, the Cholas and the Pandyas. It also contains an art gallery with fine bronze collections. Thanjavur. Yet another place in Tamil Nadu is Thanjavur, where the archaeological museum is found inside the temple compound. It gives an overview of the temple and its restoration. A part of the place contains Saraswati Mahal Library, where we find a collection of Indian and European manuscripts. Madurai. In Madurai, there is a temple art museum housed in the famous 1000-pillared hall. In 1959, Jawaharlal Nehru opened the Gandhi Museum. This museum contains a wealth of information about Mahatma Gandhi in form of letters, photographs and personal possessions. Museums in Karnataka. The museum in Srirangapatna is situated in the ground floor of the palace. This reconstructs events in the lives of famous father Hyder Ali and son Tippu Sultan. One of the rulers of Mysore converted part of the Jagan Mohan Palace into Sri Chamarajendra Art Gallery. It contains portraits of royal family in all their ceremonial regalia, as well as work by both Indian and Western artists. It also contains a sizable collection of furniture, glass and china, and sculptures and decorative art form from around the world. Another interesting museum at Mysore is the Railway Museum, which was recently inaugurated in 1979. There are gleaming steam engines, royal insignia of Maharaja's private coaches. Museums in Kerala. Kerala's art and artifacts are kept in the Government Art Museum at Trivandrum. The objects in the museum vary from bronzes, antique jewelry, wood carvings, musical instruments, ritual objects and handicrafts. In the same place, we can find Sri Chaitra Art Gallery. This is the place where you can see the great works of Raja Ravi Verma, the Kerala artist of the 19th century. The gallery also contains the collections of Travancore Maharajas, Mughal miniatures, Tanjore paintings and works by a Russian artist Sviatoslav Rorish. Many of these museums not only display exhibits but also publish various research and non-research papers. At every juncture of museums have given their public leadership and have integrated themselves into society. Andhra Pradesh. Anyone who visits Hyderabad, the capital of Andhra Pradesh, cannot miss the Salar Jung Museum. Hyderabad's Nizams have made a fantastic collection in their museum. It has a variety of unique objects. The range of its collections are amazingly diverse. It contains a large collection of 3,500 objects. The speciality of this museum is that all these objects are the collections of one man. He was Mir Yusuf Ali Salar Jung III, who was one of the Nizam's prime ministers. In this museum, there are works of many European artists. The outstanding objects are the jewels, ornaments, and various manuscripts of northern Indian courts. The jewel swords and daggers of Mughal emperors, the thrones and turbans of Tippu Sultan, the variety of clocks and watches, the marble statues, exotic embroidery works attract the attention of everyone. Let us sum up. The history and institution of museums through the ages is closely connected with the history of the society and to the evolution of knowledge. The museums create lasting impressions in the minds of the visitors. Every museum is the work of one or more founders. Museums use their collections not only for entertainment but also for public education and also for scholarly research. To conclude that the successful museums find it difficult to handle the increasing number of visitors. Many museums have a large collection but confined in a limited space at the center of metropolis. In scientific matters, it is the center of a three-dimensional documentation of the history of the world and of a man, which no publication can replace. The museum is a center of development for all men through their participation in the creation and continuity of culture. It is finally and above all else an essential element of the cultural environment of man, present and future. Fortunately, we have a rich wealth of museums in our country. It is our bounden duty to maintain them so that the future generation will benefit a lot out of it. It is the key to our culture treasure box. Let us take care of it. Thank you.